Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. You know what it is. All right, you guys, PB game. All right, as the defense and the prosecution and the Derrick Shavon case, I guess, are prepared or getting prepared to make their closing arguments due to the fact that Derrick Shavon has decided to plead the Fifth Amendment, or as Dave Chappelle would say, the Fifth, F-I-F. I don't know what more evidence and proof that the defense or the prosecution could present to a jury to prove that, to me, in most people's eye, anybody with common sense, human decency would see that Derrick Chauvin is guilty as hell. You know, the defense tried to come with this stuff about the air pipes and all this stuff and exhaust pipes poisoned him and caused him to possibly die, and that got debunked. And well, guess whose fault that is? Derrick Chauvin taking the fifth further, to me, makes him seem guilty. I think he implicated himself even further. He incriminated himself even further. He shows that he has something to hide. Now, there was, give me a second. Excuse me, had a quick phone call. Now, as I said before, Derrick Shavon decided not to take the stand. To me, that just further proves that he would have even further buried himself. He was made aware of his rights. Now, I just gotta ask yourself, anybody that's listening to this video, even if you despise black people and you think George Floyd was a criminal who somehow got what he deserved, I mean, let's, from an intelligence perspective, which some of you seem not to have, where you can't put logic ahead of your racism, who would you say made a better argument? The defense or the prosecution? The prosecution bodied the defense on everything they tried to come with. It was a mismatch. For real. It was like Floyd versus Arturo Gatti. All the defense tried to throw a couple of Hail Marys about exhaust pipes and poison and all that kind of stuff, but it didn't work. The prosecution countered everything. They made better arguments. I mean, they just had several testimony that went in favor of George Floyd. And by Derrick Shavon decided not to take the stand, he further showed that he has something to hide. And they're saying that the prosecution would have been able to question him about his repeated, and I mean repeated, complaints of excessive force filed by various people. Now they're saying there's at least 20 complaints of excessive force filed against him. You hear me? At least 20 complaints of excessive force. That should be alarming, that he still has his job and that he was still in the field. Okay? And that just shows you the incompetence or the neglect of the police department and how they don't go by the so-called protect and serve. Let me explain something to you. If I owned a business and I had an employee that had at least 20 complaints of him mistreating the customers or not behaving in a professional manner, do you think he would still be working for me? Do you think he would still have a job? See, that's something else that need to be taken into question. This so-called blue wall of silence, that they are basically ignoring the people who are making these complaints. They're not running an investigation. That just goes to show you internal affairs wasn't doing their job. The police department wasn't doing their job. And it just goes to show you the lack of respect that this particular Minneapolis police department had for civilians. See, nobody wants to talk about that. See, that's a subject for another day. See, they didn't want to bring that up. So Derrick Shavon to me is guilty as hell. You know, at the end of the day, it's just going to come down to the jury. Are they going to show human decency and put their feelings aside? Or should I say their racial bias aside and do the right thing and convict this man? That's the big question. Because all they need is one. And like I keep saying, the settlement that the family took, people can say, well, you know, yeah, he's guilty, but the family did get $27 million. That's not the point. The point is this man committed a crime. And see, if he's not convicted, sends a horrible message. And then also the police, they go out and they continue to do this. So, as I said before, we will see how this plays out. This your boy Town Biz. I'm out.